It's almost like it was yesterday that we got that huge trailer for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel that we're referring to as Breath of the Wild 2. One of the biggest things to take away from that trailer is this mysterious, or maybe not so mysterious, is this horrifying mummy-like corpse of what seems to be a very dastardly enemy. And you know, there's many of us that believe that this is the boy, Ganondorf. That he's finally making a return to the Legend of Zelda series ever since way back when with Twilight Princess. But on the other side of that coin, there is a lot of people that believe that this entity could be Demise, the demonic king, the demon king from Skyward Sword. I've seen it in the comment section of YouTube videos all over social media, people arguing, that's Demise, no that's Ganondorf. Guys, it's obviously Demise, no it's Ganondorf. So now I'm at the point that I really want to make a video on who this corpse could actually belong to, or who this might actually be, using what we know from the past Zelda games and how this thing looks in the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. And hopefully after all the points I present, you'll be able to decide for yourself. Hey guys, it's HMK with another Breath of the Wild 2 video. Maybe this will end the debate on who this character could be. I mean, I see a lot from both sides. Things have been getting wild. Breath of the Wild. So for the safety of hype, I'm gonna ask you to strap on in. Let's dive directly into the noise. As a bit of a primer, let's go over who Demise and Ganondorf are. The TLDR, Demise is the Demon King that arose to power long before the chronology of the Zelda series. He led hordes of demons who rose out of the earth in his conquest for the Triforce. He was sealed away as the imprisoned through the efforts of the goddess Hylia and acted as the catalyst for the events of Skyward Sword. After he was revived through the efforts of his servant Girahim, he was finally killed by the hero Link using the Master Sword. Although his remains were absorbed into the sword, he lay a curse upon Zelda and Link that an incarnation of his hatred shall follow them in a blood-soaked sea of darkness for all eternity. And that rolls into his reincarnation, who is the Gerudo King Ganondorf. The TLDR on him is that in Ocarina of Time, generations after Skyward Sword, a Gerudo male known as Ganondorf will be born to the tribe of female warriors known as the Gerudo, and by birthright, and he would be their king. He would then lead campaigns against Hyrule and the royal family in his conquest for the Triforce, becoming known as the Demon Thief, and in his eventual success, the Great King of Evil Ganondorf. It is this entity who is indeed the reincarnation of Demise's hatred. Being such, one way or another, would always follow Link and Zelda throughout the history of Hyrule in his search for the Triforce, either as Ganondorf or his demonic alter ego known as Ganon. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, when we look at this corpse-like being, there actually can be points to either one of these characters, Ganondorf or Demise. So the idea that this could be Demise or Ganondorf isn't really out of the question, but let's go over those points, shall we? Let's start off with how this could be Ganondorf. First off the bat is the real-like red hair. This isn't like the flaming hair that Demise has, which is literally hair that is fire, but it looks very real, tangible, hair that you can brush and run your fingers through. And Ganondorf, along with the rest of the Gerudo, is known for having red hair. It's one of the most notable features. So in that regard, that's 1 point for Ganondorf. Next is the obvious Gerudo imagery and adornments. We can obviously see the Gerudo symbol on the robe as well as the adornments. The Gerudo tribe is very particular on their jewelry and their gold, and we can see Gerudo symbology all over this entity. While sure, Demise had a robe as well, it really isn't anything like this, so that's another point for Ganondorf. Here's another cool one. He has human-like skin, albeit mummified. Now, this skin is very akin to what we saw in the original Breath of the Wild when we deal with the mummified Sheikah tribe members, the individuals that give you a spirit orb when you complete a Sheikah shrine. So whatever happened to this dude is probably something similar that happened to that of the Sheikah. Regardless, it's still very human-like, even though it's very nasty looking. When we look over to Demise and how his skin looks, he has those weird spiky quills, which gives me the impression that Demise's skin is more demonic and ridgy rather than human-like skin. So that is another point for Ganondorf. Other points for Ganondorf now geared to what we see in the trailer when we see the painting on the walls, the trident, and on horseback. Ganondorf, or rather I should say Ganon, is very well known for having the trident as his main weapon. Although Ganondorf has known to use swords before, back in the day, Ganon was always about tridents. And here in the imagery, we see what seems to be the same character wielding a trident on horseback. Demise has been known for one thing when it comes to weapons, and that is his sword, which turned out to be Girahim. So when it comes to the case in point of weaponry, this definitely goes over to Ganondorf. Also, Demise on horseback? I don't think so. And going more off those paintings, this entity had human followers. Now, when it comes to the followers of Demise and Ganondorf, Ganondorf has known to have human-like followers. Although, when it comes to differentiating legends, he's known to slaughter them, but he still had human followers. In matter of fact, Ganondorf had many different followers when it comes to humans, demonic-like entities, ghost-like entities. But when it comes to Demise, he straight up only had demons. And that fact was driven home so hard in Skyward Sword that all of the other tribes and races band together against Demise and his demons. It's not like he's gonna have any humans on his side, although there's a point of contention that we'll address later in this video. But for now, this point goes to Ganondorf. Next up are the Calamity Eyes, which link Ganon to Ganondorf when it comes to Calamity Ganon. The eyes we see flash from this corpse are exactly like the eyes that we've seen in Blobs of Malice in the original Breath of the Wild, including that gigantic eye on the back of Calamity Ganon himself in the final battle. So for that aspect, this point goes to Ganondorf, but not entirely. And to wrap it all up, a version of Ganondorf's or Ganon's theme does play in the trailer when we get a close-up of the corpse. So you would think that wraps everything nice on a bow, right? Well, we gotta look over at the points for Demise, because this isn't a full sweep for Ganondorf. There are points going towards the Demon King, and we're gonna go over them now. First off the bat is an image that has flashed off the wall in which we see what seems to be the full pristine condition of this individual before this happened. And I gotta say, this dude was beefy, and Demise was very beefy. Ganondorf has shown to be muscular, but compared to that of Demise, he's a lot more toned. But Demise is just huge. And from what we see on the wall, this guy's body frame definitely matches more in line with that of Demise's. So yeah, that's a point for Demise. Let's keep going. The rounded ears. Now this is definitely a point of contention because this individual has rounded ears. Now Ganondorf and the Gerudo tribe at one point within the chronology of the Zelda series have known to have rounded ears, which is a whole deal of lore which is pretty messed up when you go into it, but they eventually got pointed ears, just like Ganondorf did in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. However, you know who has rounded ears? Demise, as a demon, has rounded ears. So that could be a point driven over to the Demise argument. Next up are the fangs. Now, Ganondorf has shown to have fangs at various aspects within the Zelda series, but only for instances, which is kind of weird. However, this entity is frozen in place where it looks like he's had fangs his whole life, or fangs that have been permanent on his appearance. And you know what fangs definitely go in line towards? Demonic entities such as Demise. And Demise does have fangs. So in that respect, I'm gonna give it over to Demise. Now before, when it comes to Ganondorf's real red hair, we gave that point to Ganondorf, but a point that I'm gonna give to Demise is the fact that this hair is very long. Ganondorf has not really ever been known to have really long hair before in the Zelda series, and we're not counting Hyrule Warriors because that's not canon. And also, for those who want to say, oh, the hair could have grown because it's a corpse and your hair keeps growing, well, there's a bunch of scientific inaccuracies behind that statement. And also, the flash that we see on the wall shows this entity got smacked with his long hair intact. And you know who does have long hair? Demise. Albeit it's long flaming hair, his hair is still long, so I'm gonna give that point to Demise. Yeah, I'll do that. Next up is the eye color motif. Now, I gave the Calamity eyes over to Ganondorf only to link him between the Calamity Ganon and this entity, but when it comes to the eye color of this, it definitely goes along more towards Demise, because Ganondorf and the Gerudo tribe in general are known to have mostly yellow eyes. But this time around, these eyes are more reddish orange in color, which definitely goes in line with Demise's eyes. So that's one point. And another point I'm gonna give towards Demise when it comes to the eye motif is the X symbol when the eyes activate. Now call me crazy, but that X symbol reminds me a lot of the scar on Demise's forehead, which is that of an X. So for me, that's drawing a more direct connection. Next up is something that's pretty small but goes a long way, and it's that the nails on this entity is very long, and for long nails, I'm gonna give it to Demise. Say what you will about Ganondorf, he always keeps his nails nice, filed, and clean. They never have been long and sharp-like. Demise's nails, however, has been very long and claw-like. And before you say, oh, when you die, your nails keep growing, now in scientific inaccuracies, and once again, refer to the mural, that's right, long nails. Point for Demise. And one thing I do want to try and address and wrap this whole thing up is that perhaps this is Demise that was treated like a god in the long forgotten past. How did he end up there? I don't know. Why would he be treated like a god? I don't know. I was just throwing that spitball out there. People within the Zelda universe has worshipped way wilder things, in my opinion. And then a point for both is that apparently they both carry the defining wound that Link stabbed Ganondorf through the chest in Twilight Princess, and Link stabbed Demise through the chest in Skyward Sword. And at the end of the day, it could be possible that this is indeed Ganondorf that is channeling Demise more so than ever before. But with these points brought to light, I want to know what you guys think. Are you on Team Ganondorf or Team Demise? Let me see what you think in the comment section below. And while you're at it, be sure to like, favorite, share, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK as I put out Zelda content every week. Once again, big thanks to my Patreon supporters for help making this video happen. If you want to find out how you can support HMK for just $1 a month, please check out my Patreon page. Alright guys, so until the next Zelda video, this has been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.